Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Arun, Kali, and Raj for inviting me. And it's, in fact, I'm delighted to be here today. It's a rare occasion these days to have participate in a physical event, so thank you very much for that. And I'm happy today to be speaking on a subject that's very dear to ITC, on the role of corporates on climate change. And I'm happy today to share some perspectives of ITC's journey over the years. All of you would recollect just a few days back, two gentlemen were given the Nobel Prize for predicting global warming. That certainly shows how important the subject is. But if you go back in history, and we just had a good session on history just now, the prediction dates back to the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And yet, I think the unfortunate part is that we haven't done enough to be able to combat it today. Today, it's a crisis of epic proportions. And we are all witness to extreme weather events year on year. The IPCC report recently that's come out, that also says that going beyond 1.5 degree is somewhere a given. The Climate Action Tracker, in fact, says that with all the pledges that have been made, we are on track for 2.4. But the trajectory today is 2.8. So clearly there is a huge gap. A lot needs to be done. And if it is not done, the future poses enormous risks. In India itself, it's predicted that heat waves or extreme weather events would multiply 75 times. Yields of wheat would drop to about 50%. Clearly, the crisis is very, very severe, and the need to act is now. And the need to act is to do it at scale. And that's where I think this topic is extremely important. Whilst all sections of the society need to do their bit, because it's an extremely big challenge, it's an extremely complex issue, but corporates, and we in ITC have always believed that, as large economic organs of society, as trustees of societal resources, I think we have a responsibility towards it. And enterprises have access to a lot of financial capital, have an access to a lot of managerial talent, have a lot of access to innovative capacity, and we can execute at scale. We can influence change. I think that's where the role of corporates in combating climate change becomes extremely, extremely pivotal. And it is today, in fact, I would say, even in our self-enlightened interest to do so, because there is increasing requirements of this from investors, consumers, regulators are demanding certain actions as far as this is concerned. And in any case, businesses can only thrive when societies thrive. So we've got to do it, we've got to lead the way, we've got to show the way like corporates have in many areas. And when we speak about it, often there is a tension between the cost of sustainability and the economic viability. Our own experience has shown that it is indeed possible to simultaneously create comparatively superior economic value and at the same time do well for the planet. And in our journey, we've become a water positive, carbon positive, solid waste recycling company for 19, 16, and 14 years in a row. Whilst we've grown our businesses, we've given good financial results, so it's eminently possible to do so. So the tension is not really there. It's for us to find the solutions. In fact, if we find the right solutions, we can actually create some interesting sources of competitive advantage. Of course, there will be some areas where costs are high, but at a larger level, we have to look at it at the total system cost, and some of it we have to absorb. But in totality, I think enterprises can actually overcome that. Many years back, India did not have its fiber chain, and I'm just taking the liberty of sharing some examples. And we decided to create a fiber chain in India, and today we have about 8,75,000 acres of renewable forest. It's created 160 million man-months of employment. It's created social capital, it's a carbon sink, and it has made the business competitive because I have a competitive and sustainable source of fiber, and as a result, our paperboard business is not only the greenest, but it also provides the best quality of paperboard and the best and consistent financial metrics. So all these, because it is pursued in a way that is synergistic. Based on our journey, I would like to suggest there are many things to be done, but let me just call out a few areas that we've found very useful and a few areas that I think are very critical from the Indian perspectives. I think first and foremost, the starting point is for all enterprises to set the ambition, to set the goals. And the moment we do it, we will find innovative forces being unleashed in the enterprise and new ways of working, different ways of thinking, and newer models that will emerge. And I'll allude to some of them as I go forward. Second is we need to commit ourselves to improving and building green infrastructure, green energy, green mobility, green buildings. In ITC, that's a journey that we have traversed over 2 decades. We have 33 green buildings, LEED Platinum certified. We do not make any more buildings that are not LEED Platinum certified. Our hotels is the greenest luxury hotel chain in the world. The world's first platinum-rated data center is the ITC Sankhya. And it is also, I'm sharing these examples to also say it also makes good business sense. It's good for the planet, it's good for the enterprise. Our energy costs in hotels are 40 to 50% lower than comparable. The ITC Windsor Manor Bangalore recently became the first hotel in the world to become net zero carbon. And that hotel's energy costs are 80% lower than normal. So what is good for the planet is also good for the enterprise. Of course, there will be some areas that are difficult to handle, but those are things on which I believe solutions will be found, and as scale comes in, cost will in fact drop. The third area is that we all need to commit ourselves to water neutrality. And I'm emphasizing water because India is water stressed, severely water stressed. 20 out of 30 cities are going to run out of water in this decade. So we need to commit ourselves to water neutrality and in fact go a step forward and become water positive. We, for example, generate 4 times the water harvesting capacity as our net consumption. And it is possible to do so by adopting certain innovative models. We have done through nature-based solutions by restoring community-based water harvesting structures. So it is possible to do it, and it's essential to do it. The third area that we need to look at as corporates is the area of transforming the agri-value chains, not merely because they are one of the significant emitters, but also because they're the most threatened. And that is a value chain where the dependency is high. Dependency is high from livelihoods, and dependency is high from a food security point of view. In 2050, we will have 9 billion people on the planet. And with depleting natural resources, we need to produce food for everybody who exists with better incomes. So that is a serious challenge. But the good news is there are solutions to it. And the solution is to adopt climate-smart agriculture. We have done pilots at scale with 250 lakh farmers, 8,000 villages, where GHG emissions have reduced by 47%, and at the same time, farmer incomes have gone up from 41 to 80%. Again, an example of what is good for planet is also good for the farmers. Similarly, we have worked on water along with farmers because agriculture is a big user of water. Demand side efficiency, reduction of 25 to 45% in a matter of couple of years. I'm just giving these examples to say that there are solutions existing today. We need to collectively come together and adopt these at scale. And digitization, I think the manner in which the world has adopted digital technologies, and that's a great learning from the pandemic. What did not happen in decades happened in weeks. That offers enormous opportunity because we have huge number of farmers, fragmented landholding, so we need to provide this know-how to all of them. And I think the digital solutions provides a great opportunity. During the pandemic, our farmer empowerment activities in the aspirational districts all transitioned to a digital mode with WhatsApp groups and special apps. And the farmers actually absorbed all the training, and in the Kharif crop, their incomes were up 60%. So that offers immense hope. The fourth area we need to focus on is to use the power of science and technology to find solutions. And I think the speed and scale and the speed of execution of the vaccines during the pandemic, I think has really taught us that we can do a lot in a limited amount of time. And we need to find the solutions to some of the energy solutions for hard-to-abate sectors, whether it's through the hydrogen route, whether it's the storage or capture routes, whether it's for plastic packaging. I think all these solutions need to find, and we and enterprises must focus on it, and it's also a business opportunity. We are, for example, in the packaging and paperboard business, and we've been focusing on plastic substitutes. And we already have version 1 of our solutions already in the market, which are having interesting uptake. And the fifth point I want to emphasize is that we need to, this may not be directly related to our businesses, but it's essential for a sustainable future. We need to enrich and grow biodiversity. And this is an area that we can all focus in our CSR activities, if not directly related to the businesses. I think these are the 5 areas I believe are very, very critical to India if we are to combat, mitigate, and adapt to the challenges of climate change. It is very heartening that Government of India has done very well. We are well on track to achieve our commitments for the Paris Climate Agreement. And in fact, the Prime Minister recently said that we will go beyond that. Indian Railways is going to be net zero by 2030. The manner in which LEDs have been scaled up to revolutionize efficient lighting is amazing. I think these are also very encouraging and inspirational stories for all of us in corporates. And I think we need to join hands with the government and move ahead, forge ahead at a fast speed. And to enable faster progress, I think there are a couple of points I'd like to put on the table. One is that the incentives as also disincentives in the system to galvanize action need certainly at a global scale to be strengthened. India has made good progress, but I think there are areas like carbon pricing, etc., that can galvanize further action. We need to make it stronger. Second, it's a complex area. It cannot be done by any one company alone, and we have to pursue the route of collaboration, pursue the route of public-private partnerships. We in ITC have 83 of them on water stewardship, waste management, and so on and so forth. And that's where I think we can amplify impact, bring in supplementary skills, and scale up. So these are few perspectives based on our experience, and I believe that while there are many areas for which solutions do not exist today, and I'm sure they will be found over time, but at the same time, there are solutions in many areas available. It is for us to galvanize action and adopt them at scale to make an impact, because we do owe it. We do owe it to the future generations to leave a world that is much more secure and sustainable. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.